Special election runoff in Georgia's 14th congressional district. We have Clay Fuller claiming victory over this morning in the seat left vacant, of course, by Marjorie Taylor Greene. Want to bring on Rarione Maniece now, who you've been following this.
Yeah.
Tell me kind of what's the latest on that.
Yeah, a lot of people have been watching this race here in Georgia and Washington because it was really going to determine how much a majority Republicans will have, if it was a tighter majority or if they gain one seat. So Republicans will stay with this seat in the 14th district. If we take a look at the results, Clay Fuller, the Republican in this race, he won the runoff election. He defeated the Democrat Sean Harris, and he won 44% of the vote, with Sean Harris with around 30% of the vote in this race. Now, Fuller, he will head off to Washington, and we know he'll serve the remainder of Marjorie Taylor Greene's term, which expires in January. So he has the rest of the year to kind of show up in Washington and show people in the 14th district what he will do. Now, already when we went to his victory party and we spoke with him last night, no surprise, he already says that he's going to align himself closely with President Trump, because we know President Trump was one who backed Clay Fuller and gave him that strong endorsement to get him through this election. Take a listen.
I think it's incredibly important to make sure that we're fighting for the president's agenda. And then if the people here, if it had gone blue, it would have been a complete tragedy for the people in Northwest Georgia. So I know that the conservatives here, they want to see those policies continued and want to see me fighting for them on Capitol Hill.
So once again, Fuller, he won 56% of the vote. Sean Harris, 44% of the vote. The Democrat in this race did not pull through. And it really wasn't surprising, because this is a deeply conservative district, very red district. And he did win, Sean Harris, win a lot of the votes in the runoff election that happened in March, because there were so many Republican candidates on this ballot. So all the Republican votes were pretty much split up. So now it's just a Republican and a Democrat in this race, and we see Clay Fuller, he came out on top. Now, when we spoke to Sean Harris at his party where he conceded, he actually says while this is a loss, he says that this is a win for him, because he's going to use this as strategy for when it comes time for him to run again in the May primary. Take a listen.
And the reason why I say we had a win tonight is because the Republican Party had to spend almost $2 million in a smear campaign to get this win. They should never have to spend money on a ruby red district. That tells you that things are changing here in Northwest Georgia.
Now, we can expect to see both of these names on the ballots again in the May primary. Both people are competing to represent their party in the November general election. So we're going to be talking about the 14th district. Once again, Savannah, it is not done for the 14th district, because these two people will now, the congressman-elect, he wants to represent and have his own two-term run in Congress. So we'll be watching. Once again, it's not over for the voters in the 14th district.
Yeah, you know, Ariana, I know you said it's not really surprising that Clay Fuller won this. Obviously, this is a red district. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who had for a long time been a very, close Trump ally, perhaps not surprising that they would replace with another Trump ally. But still, it wasn't a landslide. I mean, what do you think that says to you, and what's the feeling that you got about
And
that?
that's what Sean Harris was saying, is he says that the results show that the Northwest District could possibly be shifting. And what is interesting, what really helped him get a lot more votes than when he ran against Marjorie Taylor Greene in the last 2 years, is the fact that they kind of did redistricting, and so they added more Cobb County. So you got more Democratic voters. So, it could be a different story come November, but we're going to have to keep watching it to see, where he lands when he runs again in the general election. So,
Yeah. When you were going through that interview with Clay Fuller, did he seem concerned about that margin?
He really didn't seem concerned. Once again, it was a loss, but he says he sees it as a win. He said his team, they're going to go back and look to see, what happened. But he did say that his team was ready to go to Washington, if they were going to win today. But we see that's not the case. But he really seems like he's energized. He's charged up. He looked at the 5,000 votes that he missed, and he really says, hey, maybe some people didn't know it was a special election. So we'll see if those numbers, turn in his favor or if they will remain the same, and this will still be a conservative district.
Okay,
Savannah.
you bring up a great point. This is a special election. This is not something that it's regular election day, everyone's showing up. Did they mention any difficulty getting people to the polls?
Well, he did say he did credit a lot to young people who went out to vote, but it is, to note that it is a spring break.
There you go. A lot of young people are
Exactly.
gone. They're out on the beaches
Yeah,
partying.
so we'll see what happens.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Ariana, great context.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thank
much for
you.
that.